This episode was so good, which means lots to talk about. We learn more about Jocasta's history. I love knowing more of her story, but I truly hate knowing it. We find out she fled to Scotland after Culloden with her husband to the States. And ultimately, there's a firefight and her husband accidentally shoots her daughter dead. It's the worst thing, and they run away and leave the daughter lying in the road with the soldiers. I don't know how anyone keeps on living after that, honestly. But in her real life, she is still going to marry Mr. Ennis and put her farm in trust to Brianna's son, Jemmy. Jamie is there to be a witness to it and support his aunt during her marriage. He and Claire seem to be having a lovely time at River Run. Oh, to go to a wedding or any place not at home. While there, Jamie finds out that there was more than the pardons of the Aldsmuir prisoners. They are not allowed to congregate in groups of more than 10. Y'all, I'm sorry, are we living this episode? He is of course concerned again about Murtaugh, but while he's concerned, Claire is reintroduced to someone from season 4, Mr. Wiley. He has a super powdered face and takes an instant liking to Claire. She does seem to feel a little uncomfortable, but then sees an opportunity to work with the smugglers and make more money for Jamie's whiskey. But while she's negotiating with him, she finds out that his boss is none other than Stephen Bonnet. Why couldn't Bonnet have died the first time? It's like Frank on repeat. I hope I never have more than one lethal enemy in a lifetime. Meanwhile, back at Fraser's Ridge, Roger and Bree are facing a crisis, a plague of locusts. Roger feels uneasy being in charge because he does not think that Jamie trusts him, which of course is true. But as he is sitting there trying to figure out how to get rid of the locusts without modern pesticides, he remembers a story from his childhood about smoke creating a diversion and the locusts leaving everything alone. He enlists the help of everyone and they work together so the crops can be saved. And it's so nice to see Roger have some confidence and experience a win. Mr. Wiley is feeling amorous and tries to get it on with Claire in the stables. Thankfully, Jamie comes in at the exact right moment, and while he wants to kill the guy, Claire stops him. Then Jamie decides he wants Bonnet's beautiful horse and decides to play Wiley for it in a card game. Wiley will only play for Claire's 2 wedding rings, and Jamie comes to get them and makes her basically hand them over. Claire's understandably angry, but she goes along with it, and I wish she wouldn't have. Ultimately, he does win the horse, and they have a somewhat physical fight that still feels consensual. I don't know if that makes any sense. They end up having rough makeup sex in the barn. And then things seem to be at peace between them. But my favorite bittersweet moment of the whole episode was when Murtaugh comes back for Jocasta. He comes to her room on the eve of her wedding and tries to tell her that she should marry him instead. And then she tells the story that we saw at the beginning of the episode. That is good TV and amazing storytelling. Peak Outlander. He begs her, but she won't marry a man like her first husband again, one who was always fighting another war. And so he leaves, but he tells her he loves her, and this world may change, but that will never change. She ends up married to the other guy, but the love is real, and I hope that someday they can be together. You never know. But Bonnet finds out that his son will one day own River Run. This episode had enough intrigue, enough love scenes, and enough wins, making it an excellent episode.